Hi, Pumpkin. It's me, your dad, and welcome to Volume 7 of Hi, Pumpkin, a video series where I try to give you reasonable fatherly advice, where I can help you out and give you the tools you need to be a good, strong, awesome woman. So, today we're going to talk about something we'll probably talk about a couple times, and it's a little bit of a downer. I'm going to call it stranger danger, only because you're still kind of young, but I'm going to hit on some really important things, some references for you later on, so it's not just your dad telling you this stuff. I think what I'm going to tell you is really important. So let's get started. So, not everyone in the world is nice. Not everyone in the world is trustworthy. There are people out there who want to hurt you. Why? I don't know. And I found in nearly 3 decades as a cop and interviewing hundreds of people after they do bad things, sometimes there's never a why. It's just who these folks are. So you can't explain it away. You can't say, well, gee, if I do this or I'm just nice to people, it'll be better. Evil exists in the world. Now, there are people who are just ill or on drugs or drunk or who still do bad things, but evil really exists. And we don't like to admit that these days, but it's the truth. And I want to give you some tools to help yourself when you're going to be faced with this, because at some point you're going to be. First of all, you were born with instincts. Trust those instincts, trust your gut. If you meet someone or someone's trying to talk to you and you're thinking, hey, man, this doesn't feel right. This person is kind of a little weird. I'm not feeling the vibe here. Trust that. Too often in life, we get to, well, I don't want to be impolite, or if the person's a different color than me, well, gee, I don't want to seem racist, or if they're a different gender, I don't want to seem sexist. Hey, the most important job in the world is to protect you. Trust these instincts. If you get that feeling in your stomach, like, hey, I don't know that I should be going into this party or this bar or this restaurant or be with this person alone, trust that and take action to fix that. There's two books I want you to read. I know you're a reader because I've raised you to be a reader. And if anyone else is watching this, I want you to read these two books because they really hammer home the lessons in this. The first one is Left of Bang by a guy named Patrick Van Horn. And the second one is The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. Now, Patrick Horn is a retired Marine Corps officer, and bang is where bad things are happening, and you always want to be left of bang, which means you're not where bad things are happening. And The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker, Mr. DeBecker is a worldwide personal protection guru. He has a giant company. They protect all the stars. He's like the dignitary protection go-to for the whole world. These are fantastic books. They're easy reads, but they'll teach you to trust your instincts and kind of think things through rather than just go along blindly in the world. Now, I'm going to give you the secret to policing. And not everybody knows this, but it's the absolute 1,000% truth. You know what we look for when we're on a patrol? Whether it be on a horse, in a car, on a foot patrol, from the air, you know what we look for? We look for things that are out of the ordinary. Now, it's for what's out of the ordinary in that particular area, in that particular situation, in that time of day. What I mean, well, seeing an ice cream truck at 2 in the morning might be out of the ordinary. Seeing someone with a bunch of warm winter clothes on in the middle of July at noon is a little out of the ordinary. Look for things that, and obviously those are two obvious examples, but look for things like, I've never seen something like that, and that just doesn't quite look right. When you think, hey, that doesn't quite look right, that's your instincts telling you, hey, something's not right. So when this kind of thing happens, I want you to take evasive action as quickly as you can. And that doesn't mean you see something and you get a little bit scared and you just run all the time, because I get you can't do that. But I want you to start paying attention to things. The first thing I want you to figure out is where you are. So one of the most important things in the universe and the military and in policing is, where are you? When I was in field training, which is when cops are trained, this was done to me. And when I was a field training officer, I used to do the same thing. I used to drive my new person around in circles in this neighborhood we were at, really fast, stop in the middle of the block, slam on the brakes, and look over and I go, bam, I've just been shot and killed. You're alone and you're taking rounds. Where are you? And that's super important, because if you call 911 or you call for help, the first thing you're going to want to tell them is, I am here. I'm at the corner of Walk and Don't Walk. Or I'm in front of the McDonald's on the main drag, or wherever it is you are. Now, sometimes there's no time for that, and I get that. And yes, I guess that we can trace your phone, but that takes valuable time. And sometimes it takes a lot of time to get the permissions from the companies to ping your phone to see where you are. Or, God forbid, your phone gets knocked away from you or you get separated from your phone, and then we find your phone, but you're long gone. So always have an idea where you are. So if you have to call 911, the first words out of your mouth should be, here's my name, here's where I'm at. So then if you get disconnected, whatever else happens, they can send someone there. Um, Try to stay there, or if you get away, go to areas that are well lit or there's people. Sometimes that's not always an option, but going into a darker alley from where you are probably might not be a good idea. And I know going to people isn't always the right thing too, because the world is full of cowards these days, and people, rather than help you if you're getting beat to death, will literally sit and videotape it rather than help, which I don't understand. Um, but there are still some good people in the world who may help, and people are less likely to do terrible things in front of other witnesses. So try to get to where there's other people, somewhere that's busy, somewhere you can call for help, you can call for a ride. Uh, I start to feel a little bit awkward if you start to get separated. So you come to a place with a group of friends, and suddenly you're separated, and this weird guy is talking to you, and his friends over there. I'm not quite sure. Again, not to sound sexist, but most of the predators in our world are men. There are women out there who do terrible things, but if you're going to get beaten, robbed, or worse, it's generally with a man or a group of men or some kind of crew. And they want to separate you out because if you're with a group of people, it's harder to pick you off. You're going to have to physically fight, perhaps. And if you have to physically fight, and God forbid it comes to that, you're not fighting to beat somebody up or to win a fight. You're fighting to get away. So fight to get out of their grasp, make a lot of noise, and fight to get out of there as quick as you can. Um, I know sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just going to turn and kick this guy's butt. Well, sometimes that's easier said than done. Sometimes there's two people, sometimes there's three, or sometimes they're on drugs or drunk or whatever. And the quickest, easiest way is to get out. I've trained Krav Maga for a very long time, which is an Israeli fighting style. And one of the things we go over again and again and again is the best defense in any situation is to get out of the situation. Turn and run. You can't always do that, but if you can, boy, it's really nice to go and run and be away from it rather than have to deal with it and take someone on who may be armed, maybe better skilled than you are, maybe bigger, stronger, etc. If someone is trying to get you into a vehicle to take you out of the situation, fight like your life depends on it to avoid that. Now, I say that because your life does depend on it. I would rather you badly injured, God forbid, shot or stabbed outside of a car and they drive off because you're going to get help. Someone's going to find you, as opposed to going off in a car with someone where you have no idea where you're going and no idea the bad things that are going to happen. Fight like heck to stay out of a car of a bad guy. Some things to kind of avoid: new people and unfamiliar people. Now, you're like me in that you're super friendly and you make friends easy. And I want to meet new people. I want to talk to everybody. But once you're talking to somebody and you suddenly get singled out and it's, hey, is this getting a little weird? You need to extricate yourself from that. So I want you to be able to go and engage with new people and meet new people and do exciting stuff. That's awesome. But if it starts to feel weird, I want you to listen to that too. I want you to think, something's not quite right here. This has been a lot of fun, and be polite, but try to extricate yourself from what you're doing. Because a lot of times people are going to try to do things to you. We're going to, again, separate you from your friends, your date, or whoever you're with, so you're alone because you're easier to deal with when you're alone. I know it's fun to go out. I know it's awesome. But boy, there's not a lot of good things that happen that are good after midnight. I work patrol in a variety of places, and I'm telling you, anything after midnight generally is when tragedies and bad things happen to good people. So if you can avoid being out super late, especially alone, I would 100% do that. If you can't, I know, again, I know it's fun to go out, I know it's fun to go play, but do so in a group or do so with people you trust and have an idea where you're going, and keep control of yourself. That's the other thing. So drugs and alcohol are a big kind of no-no. So we're at a bar or we're at a club and someone gives you a drink. Ooh, be careful of that. Unless you order it yourself or you see it being made, be careful. Because again, there are bad people out there who will put stuff in your drink, and that leads to real ugliness. So it's much better to be able to buy her. And hey, if you're going to buy me a drink and I watch it from the bartender, okay, cool. But if you just show up with, hey, you want to sip? Like, no thanks. I think I'm good. So, because sometimes it doesn't take a lot of things like gamma hydroxybutyrate or GHB uh, to incapacitate you, and then bad things are going to happen. People who are really drunk do dumb stuff too. They get falling all over you and trying to grab all over you. Just, I don't care if you know the person, stay away from them because no good is going to come from that. Or if they're on drugs, and there's a million different kinds of drugs out there that do a million different kinds of different things to you. But it's like, once you identify that, even if you kind of like the person, you need to stay away because nothing good is going to come from that. Either they're going to do something with you or they're going to cause a fight or a scene, which drunks often do. They'll, hey, I'll go from clawing all over you to telling someone that I'm going to beat them up or something terrible. And then suddenly there's this big to do and you're involved. Oof, no, it's best to stay away from that. Now, I'm not telling you to have fun. Like I told you in other videos, I want you to have so much fun. They make a movie about your life that everyone can watch and say, hey, this is how to have fun the pumpkin way. I just want you to have safe in a fun manner. So, stuff to consider. I think that's all about. I think I've gone a little bit long. It's all the time I want to take today. Like I tell you when I drop you off for school, be safe, be strong, and be awesome. I love you. I think you're great. It's good to see you again, and I can't wait to see you in our next video. Bye, Pumpkin.